It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, as in weather, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Question is, are we getting a break from the humidity? Of course we are. Now, does it mean it's autumn? Does it mean it's fall? No. Still July. But if it's just a break, which we talked about, go back maybe 3 or 4 or 5 episodes. And if you look at the most recent episode, because this is episode 31, I should say, this is 31. We go back to the last episode last week. I mentioned that August could have some promise to cooler, less humid air. So I still think that's a possibility. By the way, let me get to the nuts and bolts, because one of the cool things we're talking about the heat is the humidity. If you're looking for weather, you've come to the right place. Let me show you what this looks like. We're talking about 87 degrees. Now, the normal high is 90. We hit 87. That's 3 degrees below normal. The record high really was just 5 years ago. 2020 was 102. So we've had hotter days on this very particular date, the 21st of July. But you look at our feels like temperature, this is kind of interesting because one thing you'll note, 95 is what it felt like around 10 a.m. Think about that. I got some notes here. We hit 87 at 12:48 p.m. So somewhere between 10 a.m. and 12:48 p.m., we were hovering between 86 and 87, and that's the highest we got, and the feels like was 95. But it doesn't feel like that now. No, because it's now, 7:42. It felt like 98 yesterday. So I want to point this out for context, because we're going to go do. So for those of you that are not very tolerant of the heat, you're going to like the fact that it gets a little bit easier to take in the next couple of days. I got a note from Veronica. She noted this last week. I thought I'd share it because I thought it said it spoke volumes. I thought I put it on there. She said, she said, here, see, do I have that? Oh, maybe I just didn't put it in there. Maybe that was my mistake. I'll put it in here. The comment anyway. We'll get back to that in a second. But I want to get back to this picture over here. We're looking at this picture here. So 95 degrees current temperature, or was the feels like temperature earlier today. All right, let me take this off. This is that's getting me. Okay, so the Norfolk P heat index is going to come down. We can see that the heat advisory is already beginning to shrink. It's beginning to reverse, right? So this is until 8 o'clock tonight for parts of North Carolina. It actually is 80 in Virginia Beach right now. Feels like 84. It actually is 82 in Hampton, but feels like 86. And in Elizabeth City, actual temperature is 81, feels like 87. So just to give you some context, yeah, these are the things that we're looking at. And I do know I can come back now. I think I found my comment. I think this was, to me, the best comment from someone I do know. She says, David Aldrich, the heat can't defeat me. I hope it doesn't, Veronica. Hang in there, because I know she I guess it was regarding mowing the lawn. She wasn't going to be persuaded. She was going to mow the lawn, whether it was hot, humid, sticky, all the rest. But thank you, Veronica, for letting me know. By the way, I can't do this very easily without a sponsor. So let me just share with you, we've got a great deal of the week. I want to share that with you, but we have 5 contest locations. We're giving away free pizza for a year on Thursday. And you say, that's kind of cool. Who does that? Well, First Warning Live does. All you have to do is go to our website, WTKR.com/Marcos. We've got 3 in Virginia Beach. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3 addresses and phone numbers. But we have one in Norfolk, and we have around in the Greenbrier, Chesapeake area on Kempsville Road. But if you want to participate in the free contest for free pizza, it's very easy. Just go to that website. Go to Marcos.com if you're hungry now. You might want a Pizzoli. You might want a Magnifico, which is the 1-topping pizza that we're going to be giving away. 1 large, 1 topping monthly for the next year is free. We gave one last Thursday. We've given, believe now, probably 50 to 75 pizzas, either individual pies or yearly certificates. But what's free now, well, it is free. You mean you got more free stuff? I got free right now. You don't have to be anything other than quick on the draw. Get some free cheesy bread. Cheesy bread? How do I do that? Go to Marcos.com, use the promo code, our call letters, WTKR Cheesy, and you can actually get some free cheesy bread. Now, this is going to go out to the contest stores, and it's only for the first 100 per house. 1 per household, no purchase necessary. So you don't even have to buy anything. This is about the size of a personal pan pizza with some dipping sauce. I think you'll be impressed We did this a couple weeks ago, but free cheesy bread is the deal of the week. Very excited about that. Hopefully you'll get a chance to participate in it, and we'll get you on the screen here in just a moment. I do see a note from Denmark. He says, best weatherman in the 757. Tell us about the upcoming low dew points. It's coming. Let's get back to that. In fact, let's get to that weather right now. All right, so we feel like it's 82 in Chesapeake. It feels like it's 83 in Wallops Island right now. But if you look at Newport News, it feels like 86. Suffolk is not reporting. They must be having an issue with their weather gear. But Moyock feels like 86. And Nags Head right now feels like 83. So that's where the feels like is and where things are at the moment. I got to get to the radar because we've had some showers in some cases. But I wanted to really show you where we're going to be in the next 5 days. Now, if this doesn't tell the story, I don't know what does. Because if you can get 2 days, if you have to tend the garden, you've got to get to the lawn because your garden, your lawn is unkempt. You have your neighbors are looking at you funny like, are you ever going to mow that thing? Oh, I'll get to it. I'm just looking for the humidity to break. Now you have no excuse, right? Because the feels like temperature, while it was 95 today, it's going to be closer to 89 tomorrow because we'll be lucky, he says, lucky to get to 85 for the next 2 days. But then look at, lo and behold, it's short-lived. We go to 104, 106, feels like by Friday and Saturday, and you go, oh, you're killing me, Aldrich. I'm just the messenger. But this is important to note because as the dew points come down, the break is we get is just maybe 2 days. What's the expression? Carpe diem. Carpe diem times 2. You got 2 days to get outside and enjoy this weather. And if you don't, I think you'll be remiss that you didn't do it. Maybe you didn't take advantage of it. I hope that you will. Let me check some posts here, some comments that might be coming in. I'm just doing some toggling. I'm also, I guess what you call it is I'm multitasking. I'm not the best multitasker because one time I had to wait on tables one time and I would forget that I had like table 8 or table 7. I did really good with the first 4 or 5 tables. Do you know what I'm saying? Some of you were like, yeah, I've waited on tables. I know what that's like. So if that's ever been you, if you've ever had that situation occur, then you kind of know where I am right now. But I do have some notes here. I see a note from Denmark. I believe he's putting out a note here. Ooh, yum. Yum. Ooh, he's excited. Look at that. See, he's figured this out. He's got his pizza. He's on the couch. And he looks like is that a fish? I don't know what that is, but I like it. It's something different. And we can illustrate, give Denmark a big shout out because I know he and Kim, if Kim's on this call, she's not a fan of the humidity. I've learned that in this first morning live experience that is what we're doing. So learn with me. I'm learning my gadgets and my gizmos in here, so just bear with me, but hopefully it is a yum factor. I love that. Thank you, Denmark. You're making me laugh today, and that's a good thing. Always good to laugh. Let me see here. Who else is on the call? I got a good evening from Taj. Say hello to Taj. He's been watching before. He's left some comments. Taj, it's good to see you. I hope that you're going to look forward to 2 days of cooler weather. Now we're going to throw in some free cheesy bread and 2 days of less humid weather. If you don't take advantage of all 3, that's up to you, but I just wanted to present it to you because as we mentioned, we got free cheesy bread as the deal of the week. I love cheesy bread, and you will love it too if you've never had it from Marco's because it's available if you use the promo code I mentioned just a moment ago, WTKR, cheesy, bottom right, if you go to marcos.com. All right, so back to the weather. Got to cover this too. If you haven't really taken this in, we're going back to the triple digits. It's not just, 3 or 4 days away. 1, 2, 3, 4 days away, and suddenly like, I thought it was supposed to be nice, but I've been inside doing all my inside work. Don't do all your outside yard work tomorrow. Do it on Wednesday. Then you can get back to the indoor stuff. I mean, I do know it's Shark Week at Virginia Aquarium this week. That's when you want to go to on Friday when it's hot, it's sticky outside. You can enjoy the sharks inside the aquarium on the hotter days. That's just my suggestion. Now, we do have this to share with you, a 10% chance. This is an area of interest. National Hurricane Center puts their stamp of approval. So yeah, that's a 10%. Yesterday was 20. Now, you don't have to be a mathematician to go the 20 is higher than 10, exactly. So it was 20, now it's 10, and now like in the next day or so, it's probably a nothing burger because all we have is a very fragmented area of clouds in the middle of the Atlantic. So this could have been maybe a Dexter. But if you're still on Dexter watch, we did this last week. We didn't get a Dexter near New Orleans. We didn't get anything of the Gulf Shores, but that 10% is still there. All right, now, finally he gets to the radar. I thought, what is it, 9 minutes into this presentation? Well, Franklin, or south of Franklin, we'll call it southeastern Southampton County, southwestern Suffolk County. We could call it Gates. We could call it Murfreesboro, whatever you want to call this. This is rain. I see some rain. I see some rain too. Right in here, This will fade this evening. Let me emphasize, we are going to say goodbye to all the evening showers in just mere moments. Clouds will break out, will pull away, and the humidity will continue to tumble. But we do still have some rain across the Outer Banks south of Duck. It's been raining pretty steadily at times this afternoon in Rodanthe and Hatteras, and it's all coincidental with this front. Why is this front important? Because is it any accident? No, it's not. Is it any coincidence the fact that Norfolk and Virginia Beach had their highs around 10 to noon today? It's because the front came through. And now our dew points have fallen about 66 last I checked at 7 p.m. So our dew points, the humidity has already dropped, in some cases by 4 degrees, just in the last 2 or 3 hours. And that's going back to 4, 5, 6 p.m. Now we're approaching 8 p.m., almost 8 p.m. here on a Monday night. So the humidity is already coming down. And you have our friends in the Great Lakes to thank. If you have family in Detroit, you say, I don't live in Detroit. I understand you don't live in Detroit. But sometimes weather in Detroit is coming our way. So the cooler, less humid air that's maybe from Green Bay to Detroit to Buffalo, it's going to influence us briefly. And I want to put this point out because I'm all about first warning live intel. Last episode, episode 30, I said you get to the first 10 days of August, you're going to feel cooler. There's going to be less humid air. Somebody said, oh, that's silly. Nobody else is saying that. Now everybody else is going to say that because suddenly the evidence will be very clear. Oh, yeah, sure. So these next 2 days, tomorrow, Wednesday, just a preview, I think the hottest days of summer are probably 8 to 10 days in front of us, right? Because we'll get hot again on Friday and Saturday. But by the time we get to August, the worst of summer for heat and humidity non-fans will be happily over. I think we're probably going to turn a corner. Maybe that's the case. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the first 10 days in August do not look hot and steamy. They look actually cooler than what you'd expect from the month of August. So I just throw that out there. There is value to watching First Warning Live and listening to me rant. By the way, Dexter hasn't formed yet. We're going to continue to watch him, but we have had Chantal, Barry, and Andrea. By the way, we're not even at the peak, not even close. It's late August into September. We typically see the peak of hurricane season. Some of you get a little concerned about that. We always talk about being prepared. You know, there's no gas lines right now. There's no lines for medication or baby wipes or diapers. Go ahead and get that stuff. If you know you need it and there's a hurricane coming and there's only 2 days to prepare, people get lancy. So as I've heard even the management at the National Hurricane Center say, it's a good thing to go ahead and prepare now so you have it. This is September 10th. That's the peak. That's when usually things fire up in the Gulf or the Atlantic, right? Anywhere in the Atlantic, we typically see a spike around the 10th of September. It's not unheard of. That's based on history. By the way, here are my headlines. Any evening storms will fade, clearing skies late tonight. Some relief is coming. It's not the cure-all. It's not a panacea. It's just lower humidity and temps midweek. And then it's hot and steamy again. And it's going to feel like triple digits by Friday. I think we've already covered that. But I'm just curious to know what you're thinking. Let's see here. Mike Hicks, we got a note from him. Let me say hi to him. He says, what about Nag's Head in the morning? I'm headed fishing down there. Man, I'm jealous of you, Mike. That's awesome. I would encourage you, full steam ahead. Temperatures will be maybe in the low 70s, but the dew points will be in the lower to mid 60s for you. And I think you're going to feel like, I don't know what it is, it just feels better. Some people can't put their finger on it, and I'm telling you, it has everything to do with the dew point, which is the gold standard of measuring humidity in the atmosphere. We don't have a hygrometer on this First Warning Live machine right now, but I can tell you, it's also going to drop. So the comfort level is going to go up for your fishing trip, and the dew points are going to come down. So have at it. Have a great time at Nag's Head and tell me what you catch, even if you don't catch it. You know, big fish stories. I always like those too. Other notes here. I got a Marilyn Bell. She's on here. I do know Marilyn. She's in Tennessee. She says, David, off topic, but when was the last time a hurricane hit the Virginia Beach area? I think 2004. Oh, she's putting me to the test. She's putting me to the test. I can tell you some big storms. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Big storms, 1954. Hazel. Some of you are like, I don't remember Hazel. Maybe you weren't around in 1954. I wasn't around in 1954, but historians understand Hazel was a big deal here. Floyd, 1999, I'm thinking Franklin. Fred's Restaurant had a watermark that I did see on my spotlight. I'm thinking Floyd, 1999. I'm thinking Irene. You go to Manio, there's a high water mark from 2011 from Hurricane Irene. And I'm also thinking, well, how did I miss the biggie? The granddaddy of them all. Would it be Isabel, 2003? Am I even somewhere in the ballpark for a guy who's only been here 5 months? I'm trying to do my work, trying to do my research. Marilyn, thank you for keeping me accountable. Always appreciate it. Oh, and it says, Taj is saying here, nope. He says, Marilyn, no, maybe it was 16, 17 Matthew. Matthew was another one. And Bob, I think there were a couple others. Maybe I'm missing some. But Taj, thank you for keeping me accountable as well. I got to keep moving. This is fun. Some of you are like, I'm a weather nerd like you. If you are, you've come to the right place. And we're enjoying free cheesy bread too. How about that? Big picture shows satellite radar. It's now 7:55. A couple of showers near Franklin to the south. A couple of showers around Hertford County. All of this is trying to leave Roanoke Island. I see Wanchese has some showers. I see Hatteras. I see maybe Ocracoke's had some rain recently. All that's trying to get out of here. What I can tell you, this is actually not my map. This is where I wanted to take you was this. The severe weather threat tonight is 0. That's a good thing. Severe weather threat tomorrow, a 0. There's no coloring here. And the severe weather threat on Wednesday is 0. Isn't that nice? Now that is nice. Let's go back. I got a note from Barbara Brooks. She's paying me a compliment, so I won't miss it. I'm going to come back on camera. Thank you. She says, yes, great job. I'm doing my best. One of the things I've been doing is trying to rub shoulders with the greats, like Patrick Rocky, Dave Parker. I believe Miles Henderson's been here 15 years. These guys have wisdom about this local area, and so do you. So anything you can do to share with us and make these things more vibrant, more entertaining, but also informative, I'm all for it. So thank you, Barbara, for your note. Let's go back to the severe weather. I know we're a military town. Some of you are like, I miss home, but I don't know where home is. So you tell me in the comments section. Send me what's it like back home. If home is in Montana, you've got some nasty storms growing up here. Looks like a severe thunderstorm right now. Not far from Coal Strip. This is Custer, Powder River, and Rosebud counties till, 6:30 Mountain Time. I'm guessing that's mountain time. That's big sky country. Got some severe weather breaking out in Kansas. No offense to Toto and Dorothy, but there's some severe weather breaking out here from flash flood warnings in Lincoln County and Saline County until 7 o'clock Central Time. That's where some of the active weather is right now. Looks like one just on the border of Kansas, Oklahoma. There's some severe weather breaking out around Coldwater. Some of you might know. Considerable damage, I might add. And looks like Clark County, Comanche County there until 7:15 Central Time. But more importantly, let's come back to the southeast, right? We've got more rain that's nuisance around Georgia, near Brunswick. Looks like we just heard from Marilyn Bell. She was talking about rain. It's raining maybe to the west of Rockwood now. Not in Knoxville anymore. A couple of showers moved through for you a little while. Dunlap getting some rain thunder perhaps. It's raining near Asheville. We come back to the east. Greensboro, Edenton's had some rain today. Hatteras as well. But a lot of this is going to dry up. And as I mentioned, there's a front that's been trying to get through this picture. So I got to bring this up to speed. We have obviously some big stories here. I want to take this maybe to a more serious level. We now have a moderate rip current risk. What happened today in the news, for those of you old enough to remember the Cosby Show, we lost a great actor, Theo. He played Theo. Malcolm Jamal Warner. He died. It was a drowning. From all I understand, it was a drowning. I don't have all the intel whether he was in Costa Rica captured by a rip current or whether he just drowned. But from what I've heard from Jessica Larche, because Malcolm came here for a fundraiser a couple weeks ago, Jessica says he used to swim all the time for exercise. So let's assume he was a strong swimmer. He might have gotten caught in a rip current in Costa Rica, but I don't have that intel. But it is top of mind. We are now at the peak in July for people coming to Virginia Beach, Outer Banks, and if we now have seen a rise in a risk of a danger known as rip currents, let me just put this sobering fact on the fact here. 192 people. These are not numbers, these are people who've lost their lives in the last 25 years in the coastal Carolinas. This is from 2024. This was during Rip Current Awareness Week back in April. 192, if I'm no mathematician, but it looks like that certainly dwarfs what we had in tornado, flood, lightning, wind, and drought. I mean, this is the number one problem. We think we have strong swimmers out there, and they get out there and they're in trouble. And this is why it's so important that if you know, they typically coincide with low tide. When was low tide? If you go back to what I just showed you a moment ago, it's just before noon tomorrow. So just before noon, that could be a time when rip currents are at their peak. So if you're going to swim tomorrow, you've heard the weather guys say what a glorious day it's going to be because the humidity's down. This is all true. But I want to just mention to you with a word of caution, we don't want to lose any more people than we already have. And this is too many. 192 people over a period. Was it eight on average per year? It's too many. It's too many. So if I can do my part just to remind you that rip currents are real, it doesn't matter how strong a swimmer you are. The National Weather Service says you could be the strongest swimmer. Right there. They can sweep even the strongest swimmer away from shore. I'm not saying you have to be an Olympic swimmer. You're like, I'm going to break it. Just all you have to do is learn how. It's not easy, but maybe just pull out long enough so you can escape it by cutting and going parallel, right? By swimming parallel to the coast. Act like you're a tourist. Like, I haven't seen this part of the beach. I think I'll swim this way or that way. Because otherwise, if you start fighting it, you're going to lose control and lose behavior and succumb to the rip. I don't want that to happen to you. I've been in one before. They're scary. I'm not even going to lie to you. They're not easy, and some of you might have your own rip current stories, but just know that it is a moderate risk tomorrow. Surf height's 3 feet. So I'm just going to leave it there and talk about a little more about the beach. This is why we love this part of the country this time of the year. We're in the upper 70s. It feels like bath water in June and July, or July and August when it's about 78. By the time we hit September, the temperature in the ocean starts to go down, and we know it can get cooler like in the 40s in the months of January and February and March. Now, if you're looking at the rainfall totals, we've had about 4 inches at the airport. I always like to say nobody lives at the airport. Nobody lives at the airport. They work at the airport maybe, or they try to connect a flight, but we typically see about 6 inches of rain in the month of July, and we picked up 0.24 on Friday, 0.37, just a trace today, but we are probably on target with being pretty close. Some have had much more than that. Some have had 2 or 3 inches from some of these flash flood warnings that we've had, but this is just a single point on the map, and that's Norfolk International. 6.08 is typical in July. This is the soggiest month of the year historically, followed up quickly by August, which is 5.88. Got a couple of notes. Want to say hi to you. Will is sharing some stories here. I want to come back on Will because it looks serious too. Let me get him on here, and I'll get my telestrator clear. There we go. He says, I got caught in one of those as a teenager, swam sideways, got clear of it. If you have that kind of intel, I just had a chance, it was a glorious opportunity to speak at Camp Croc. This is the Salvation Army here on Ballantyne Boulevard. I got a chance to talk to these kids for an hour, and I showed them this graph about the rip currents and how to swim parallel. And sometimes, it's the kids. They're the ones telling the parents, hey, Mom, turn around, don't drown. They're the ones reminding the parents sometimes when they see standing water, they retain some of this, baby, better, maybe like a sponge. But Will, thank you for sharing your example, because I think it is something many of us can learn from. And like I said, it's a scary thing if you're in it. Sometimes it's the last thing you're thinking about. You're like, wait a minute, is this a rip current? I guess I'm being sucked out like a vacuum cleaner. But you just have to make sure you know how to break the rip, even if you have to float a little bit until you can get your footing to get to the left or to the right. So let me go back. Where are we? Oh, I know what I forgot to tell you. Did I forget to tell you about the cheesy bread? We're talking about so much fun here. I want you to have some free bread, free food for the first 100 contest store winners here, 1 per household. You don't have to have your name drawn out of a hat. No purchase necessary. You don't have to buy anything. Marcos just loves weather. You just have to go to marcos.com and use the promo code WTKR Cheesy. I mentioned a moment ago that there are 5 locations that are participating in this, and there's 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk. If you want to win free pizza for a year, and we want to do that for you too on Thursday, all you have to do is go to our website, WTKR.com/Marcos. This is what the certificate will look like, and you will be able to use your certificate like a punch card. You say, okay, I took mine in June, July, and August, and then you'll have 12 months total once that certificate is done. You may like Marcos way better than other pizzas as I do. You just got to check it out. I encourage you to try it when you win. And you can certainly try the cheesy bread this week. That's one of the nice things about Marcos is they want to give back. All right, highs today was not that hot, relatively speaking. Normal high clearly here says 90. It's now 804. Record high 102. We hit 87 here. It was 90 in Chesapeake. And some of the hotter numbers, Edenton hit 93. Our friends in Williamsburg hit 91. So again, I mean, was anything off the chart here? Probably not, but we did hit 102 just 5 years ago. I mentioned that wasn't that long ago. But when you're keeping score, this does not include the feels like. This is not including the heat index. We don't keep records based on heat index of what it feels like. I can tell you that we've had now a total of seven 90-degree days in July. 7 in July. But when it's not even colored here or here, that means it matched the normal. The normal high is 90. Back on the 3rd of July, it was 89. But if you're keeping track here, we're about 0.9 degrees above normal for the month, which you think, oh no, it's not possible. It has to have been hotter. But these are actually the measurements of the temperature without the humidity being a factor. So if you're just taking the air temperature, we hit 87 today. That's technically a below average numbers. But if you're keeping score, you're playing the home game version. We did hit 91 degrees pretty quickly this year in early April, April 6th. We followed up with 2 in May, a whopping 12 days in June. Can you remember that? Do you remember the hottest day was the 26th. That day we hit 99 degrees. I remember that like it was yesterday. And then, of course, July 20th, which was Sunday, yesterday, we hit 90. So we didn't hit 90 today. So we've had 7, 12. I believe we're now up to 22. Am I right? 22 days is what we've had so far this year, and we typically see about 36 days. So we're plugging along. If we get 3 more, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then we only have a couple more days left to July. We might not even hit 14 and a half because we only get 7. But I can tell you we've had a total of 22 days so far this year. Does that surprise you? Is that off base? Is that consistent with what you were thinking? Let me come back on camera because I want to see what I can do to elevate and magnify some voices out here. Let's see here. Mike Hicks, I believe he has another comment. He says he worked, okay. He's speaking to the fact I said people don't live at the airport. He worked at the airport maybe for 11 years and had been wet, cold thunderstorms on the ramp. I bet you probably saw it all. If you worked there, no doubt. But since most of us live in the neighborhoods and they don't necessarily live on the runway, yeah, it was just an illustration. But I'm glad you had, and I hope you have. If I have you correctly, I hope you enjoy that trip out on the out to the fishing trip tomorrow. All right, back to the maps. I don't want to go too long here. It's 8:06. We've had 22 days. Current temperature already cooling down. It's going down. It's going do. Wait, it sounds like it's like a video game, right? 79 in Virginia Beach. It's 77 in Hertford. Some of you are like, where's Hertford? Hertford's over here, my friend. And it's already 77 in Manteo. So temperatures are beginning to tumble. Overnight lows should be in the lower to mid 70s overnight. And if you factor in the heat and humidity, it feels like it's 82. Virginia Beach feels like 86 in Hampton, feels like 80 in Wallops. Now, Wallops Island has a dew point of 68. We're already seeing some 60s here. This came up from 66 an hour ago. I know this is the 8. Yeah, this is the 8 p.m. dew point. Okay, there's my 8 p.m. and we'll just put a big old T and a little D here for meteorological purposes. So our dew point is 69 at 8 o'clock. Last hour, it was 66. So it's come up a little bit. But it's not necessarily going to stay in the 70s for much longer because we will see this drop as the night wears on. What does this typically mean? I'm going to come back on camera for a second. When it's 75, it's oppressive. But tomorrow we're going to do this. Ready? And then we're going to do this again. And then maybe get it there. Okay, it's not working. Okay, so look, I'm not a miracle worker. All I can do is get it to here. It's up to you to maybe start praying and wishing that we get it the comfortable, very nice. That comes in autumn. That'll come probably around football season, maybe, if we're lucky. But I know it seems like it's been an endless summer for some of you. Like, I wish it were cooler. I wish it were less humid. But here's what I expect. All kidding aside, all jokes aside, I expect we'll be in the mid-60s for dew points tomorrow and Wednesday, and then it starts to stair-step back up, 72, 73, 75. And I've already shown you what that 73, 75 is going to look like. It's going to suddenly make it feel like it's 104, 106. Right? Some of you know, I don't want 104, 106, but that's where it's likely to be. If you're looking for drier air, I was bragging about Detroit. What do you got about Detroit? I've never been, I have connected a flight through Detroit. I haven't really gone around Detroit, but I can tell you if you look at those dew points, they're in the 50s, right? And I was just trying to hop up and skipping down to get those dew points to come here in the 50s, but we don't live near Detroit. We live in Hampton Roads in Northeast North Carolina. So we can best hope for 60s, but this is where the dry air is trying to move down. So if we could get it to advect down southeastward, which I think is going to happen, you ready for what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen in August. The first 10 days in August, you're like, man, it's got cool. I wish I had been watching First Warning Live like all my other neighbors. They saw this coming and I didn't. If you think summer is going to stay this hot right into August, you're mistaken. I think this is a preview. What we get tomorrow and Wednesday is just a preview of what we're going to get once we get into August. But we still got to get Friday, Saturday out of our way. So that's why I say some of the hottest days of summer might be just 8 to 10 days away before it goes bye-bye. So you look at these dew points, this is the telltale, this is the canary in the coal mine when you start to see some really cool air in the 50s up here. And boy, they're in the 40s over here. I can tell because the coloring has changed. So if you got dew points in the 40s, you're like, hello Adirondacks, hello Tug Hill Plateau. How do you know about those places? Because I worked in Rochester for 4 years. I understand upstate New York and Finger Lakes, beautiful country if you ever get a chance to go up there too. All right, so temperatures right now, hello to all my friends in Knoxville. Been there 15 years. I've been here almost a little more than 5 months now. I've been here since late February. But they're getting really cool up here in upstate New York. That's the bellwether. That's the canary in the coal mine. Maybe we can cool things down here in a neighborhood near you. Where we see some 50s, it's 8-10, by the way. I got to keep moving. We still have some hot weather in Dallas. They're at 95. Jackson, Mississippi, 92. And that's at, 8 o'clock Eastern. Hot stuff. While they're at 65 in parts of Maine, pretty nice. Dew points, I would imagine, and temperatures in the upstate New York are also pretty cool for this time of year. You know what also is cool is taking a look at the next 10 days. You want some evidence about the fact that this man's been talking about August since the 30th episode. That was last Thursday. I said, I'm giving you some great first warning intel. Some of you are like, yeah, right. He's just trying to give me some cheesy bread. Now I'm giving you cheesy bread. I'm also giving you the intel to reinforce it that I'm not backing away from it. I think this cool air you see here around the New England states, this is the 31st of July. Last I checked, the next day is August 1. This will start to set the pattern for the first 10 days of August, and some of you are going to be like, I like this. I wish I knew this sooner, but if you weren't watching First Warning Live, how would you know this, right? Unless you're watching our newscast, because I have advertised it since I worked last night as well. I said, hey, to my audience, hey, August looks cool to me, at least the first 10 days. And once you get there, you'll be like, hey, that's nice. And when I say cool, I don't mean like October cool. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm talking ragweed's going to come on strong, but the temperatures may start to retreat. And we've got 94 on the board for Friday and Saturday. These are my expectations. These are my temperature trends here for the next 5 days. The heat index trend, as I mentioned earlier, goes up to 104, 106. Does that mean everybody gets to 104? No. Some might stop at 101. Some might stop at 104.5 here. But this is just a ballpark, a target that I think we could reach if the dew points come up to where I think they'll be, which is the mid-70s. Once they get into that 94 range with mid-70s, that's what this would translate into, is triple-digit feels-like temperatures. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to make things more conversational here. It is 8:12. I got to finish up here. Chance of rain is pretty paltry. I know we got some showers tonight, but that's the last of most of this rain in the Carolinas. I have a 10%, and then 20% Friday and Saturday. Not much to see there. In fact, if you were to play this through, let's just go through the rest of the week. Let's take it all the way to Sunday. I'm looking at my clock here and my calendar. What is this, 0.1? There's not a lot of rain there, Aldrich. No, there's not. And I like to say these maps, these future rainfall products have their limitations, but even if this is just guidance, it tells me we get about 1/10 of an inch. Not a whole lot. If you look around the region, same time frame, go right through 11 o'clock on Sunday. That's up here. 2/10, 4/10. I mean, your garden, you're going to probably need to water. Maybe if that's even an issue now, because many of us probably have already had some sweet corn. And we've already passed the 4th of July. So who knows what might be growing in the backyard. By the way, Eastern Shore forecast tomorrow. Bloxham 84, Onancock 84, beautiful Exmoor 83, Cape Charles also 83 degrees tomorrow. If you're heading the Outer Banks, we already heard a question about Mike going to Nags Head, 82 with a 0 chance of rain tomorrow there. 82 for Manio, 82 for Duck, high UV index, Ocracoke and Hatteras about 85 degrees. That's my expectation. There may be a better chance of rain developing down toward Wilmington, which is why Ocracoke has a little bit of a higher chance of rain. Storm Prediction Center showing some colors. We look at the dark green is isolated, the yellow is scattered. Sure, there could be some nasty weather if you're in the military and you have family in Montana, maybe North Dakota. That could be scattered through about even Rapid City. South Dakota could have scattered severe storms between now and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Omaha might be isolated. Knoxville. Did you just say Knoxville? Oh, Knoxville. Oh, yes, very fond of Knoxville in East Tennessee. Atlanta, Knoxville, Charlotte, you might have an isolated strong storm between now and 8 o'clock. This includes Harriman, Newport, Athens. You know those places? I do. Cookeville. I'm familiar with Rogersville as well. Done some spotlights out there too. By the way, severe weather threat, nothing going on here. If we really bring this to tomorrow, there'll still be some scattered severe storms in the upper plain states. I'm looking at Minnesota, Minneapolis, Fargo, Aberdeen, South Dakota, Green Bay, maybe just to the north of you. Atlanta, Macon, Valdosta, Savannah could get some isolated severe storms tomorrow, and nothing here on Tuesday. We feel great. Tomorrow's a great day in Virginia Beach. Minus the moderate rip current risk. Minneapolis, Marquette could have severe weather on Wednesday that's scattered. Maybe an isolated storm that's severe in Denver. Just so you know, if you're making travel plans or maybe you're trying to get into a flight to Chicago, should be fine on Wednesday. Nothing to see here Wednesday afternoon. It is now 8:15. Just want to show you the future cast. Notice the rain that's on the map. Some of this, again, may be overstated, but by 11 o'clock it goes to bed, which is probably where this should be going because this live stream is going on long enough. 11 o'clock and into 7 a.m. I'm smiling when I say that. By the way, 7 a.m. just mostly sunny skies. Midday, I left a 10% chance of rain. A little bit of false echoes maybe around Exmoor. Eastern Shore, 10% chance of rain tomorrow. I don't expect much. Same situation on Wednesday. Glorious day, mostly sunny to start. Maybe partly cloudy with a few drops. Some of this may reach the ground, but I would say most of it does not. So you're not going to get much rain on Wednesday. I left 10%. I mean, 10% is what it is. 10%, not much to see. But I can tell you the forecast. Lows in the low to mid 70s. Tuesday's highs, 86 for Hampton, 83 for Cape Charles, Duck 82, Nags Head 82, and Cortland. You know where Cortland is? Yeah, I know where Cortland is. Cortland, 88. 88 for Gatesville. Matthews, beautiful Matthews. Newport News, both 86 tomorrow. That's my expectation. 85 Southside, 84 Peninsulas, 86 for North Carolina. And here, it's about time. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. Notice, I want you to see when you see lows like this in the upper 70s, that means the heat and humidity is coming back ferociously. Ooh, 94 is going to feel a lot like 104, 106. Tough to take. But then it gets cooler again. As we get closer to August, I think the first 10 days, some of you are going to be surprised of how cool August is. And then you're like, I wish somebody had told me about that. I wish somebody had told me about that. Or I wish somebody had told me about the free cheesy bread. It's free. Well, I have to buy something. No, you don't. You get the whole cheesy bread. It fills up an entire box like you've just purchased a personal pan pizza, and they'll throw in some dipping sauce. They want to give it out to the first 100 customers, and the contest stores we mentioned already were the 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in Greenbrier, and 1 in Norfolk. But all you have to use at the checkout is the promo code WTKR, that's our call letters, and the word cheesy with a Z. And that should get you in there. You'll get free cheesy bread. And if you've never tried it, this is your free chance to do it. And you say, well, that's kind of neat. So I'm actually being rewarded. I'm actually being rewarded to let's get back here. I'm actually being rewarded to watch a show about weather. Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. It's sweet. So let me get to the fun pictures. We talked about the heat. We have some what I like to call happy shots. This comes by way of Ed. Ed was kind enough to share this picture with us from last Friday. There were some thunderstorms near Lee Hall. Thank you, Newport News, Mr. Ed. Ed Ellington, thank you for sharing that little kaboom with us. Oh, no regrets. This is an egret on Back River at Messick Point. Brian Talley and Pocosin, thank you so much for sharing these pictures. As I continue to rotate some pictures behind me, Pocosin should be in my list because these are towns I've also covered as well, but I love the fact that he shared that with us. And last but not least tonight, Chelsea Chandler has a great ocean view, Norfolk sunset, sharing that with us. Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate that. This is all coming by way of our WTKR photographers group. We have a great group that shares pictures with us as well. And as I go back to the weather forecast, we'll leave it there. Let me see if I have any comments. I can, let's see, put in here. Oh, I got a note from Josh Griffin. He is on here. He says almost had 0.1, I guess inches, in Ocean View today. Ended up with 0.08 inches from a quick shower. So we did get some rain. Had a trace at the airport. Appreciate that update as well. And if you have any comments, let me know. I'll do my best to answer that throughout the evening as well. It's now about 8:19. Anyway, doesn't matter if the weather is sunny. Doesn't matter if it's serious. Every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.